Hey, welcome to Thunderjack on Comics. I'm Todd, and I use the name Thunderjack as a moniker for various projects I've had, as well as for video gaming, and which I don't do much of anymore, as well as playing Dungeons & Dragons. I've had a couple of characters named Thunderjack that I've used. And that name came from a movie called Snow Dogs, which was, I think it was James Coburn's last film, and his character in that was named Thunderjack, and he was called that because he was struck by thunder twice. Go figure. Anyway, I'm going to talk about a couple of comic books I picked up recently. Beginning of the month, a week and a half ago, was Free Comic Book Day, and if you know about that, you know about it. If you don't, I'll put a link into the description down below for where you can find out more information for it. But I want to talk about two specific comic books, one of which I did pick up from Free Comic Book Day, and this is an Archie Comics. And it's a good little comic book. It's meant for younger readers. And I decided to pick this one up for kind of nostalgia reasons, because when I was young, and we're talking 4th to 6th grade, Archie Comics, like this, except Sabrina wasn't around back then, but, you know, Archie and Jughead and Betty and Veronica and Reggie were the main characters. And that was one of the mainstays that I read, along with various war comics, which I'll get into in another video in the future, and other humor comic books that were age appropriate for, you know, 4th to 6th grade type kids. Then I moved up to other things, but the other one I picked up is another Archie Comics that just sounded right up my alley for it because it's science fiction themed, and that's Archie and Friends Space Adventures, and they go to Mars, and there's other space adventures in here. There's like 3 or 4 different stories in here, and it's a fun little read, and it's, you know, age appropriate for young kids. And if you're looking for something to look at and get for your kids, Archie Comics are still really good for that. Some others to think about if you can find them, because DC stopped publishing them, is the various Scooby-Doo comic books. Not the Scooby Apocalypse, but Scooby-Doo Where Are You, and the Scooby-Doo Team Up, and the Scooby-Doo Batman and Robin Adventures. And I'll talk about those in another video in the future. But these are fun, you know. I mean, I enjoyed reading them. It was a nostalgia. The artwork is still pretty much like I remember for these comic books back in the day when I was originally reading them as a kid. And it was fun. I mean, I can recommend doing this. I mean, Archie comic books have been around for bloody ever. I mean, on the cover of the Space Adventures, it says 85 years. And that's definitely longer than I've been around. So check it out. If you got kids, seriously consider these. Comic book shops do carry them. You can probably find some Archie comic books at like Barnes & Noble sometimes. I still see them there occasionally. And that's a good place to start, especially if your kids haven't been introduced to comics. And another video I want to get into is why it's good for kids to be reading comic books. And that's because they will develop, most of the time, most kids will develop lifelong reading habits for fun. I can say that for myself as well as for my daughter, who I got started on comic books at an early age. And we'll talk about that more in another video in the future. But I just wanted to get the ball rolling again on this channel. I had to stop what I was planning on a year and change ago because of some family matters that came up that meant I had to take a break from a lot of things that I was doing. And recently I got pushed into retirement from my job, and wasn't happy about that. Yeah, if they're watching. Yeah. Anyway, so, you know, I'm back at this, and I'm going to try and get at least 1 or 2 videos up a week and going forward. And that's about it for this time around. Thanks for tuning in and watching, and we'll see you next time. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks.